in order to make $1 million, you have to learn how to make 1,000. Like now, that property is probably worth like $400,000 or $500,000 more than what I paid, and that's how you're gonna get to $1 million. Right? That's the simplest way I can think of it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another fire episode of the Winners Club podcast, where even when we don't win, we learn, and learning is a form of winning, guys. My name is Brian Trent, your host, number one co-host right there, PJ Padua.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
In this episode, PJ has a dying question. He's watched something on YouTube, and he's like, "Yo, I gotta ask Brian." So fire away.
Hey, man, I think this is a very powerful quote that I heard, and I would love to know your opinion on it. So I was, having some conversations, and what I heard is the effort that it takes to make $1,000 is the same that it takes to make $1 million. And I want to know your opinion because that sounds kind of profound.
Okay. I would say that the effort, meaning like the amount of work, is the same, but the type of work is different.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? By the type?
To make $1,000 and to make $1 million today, because I've done both.
Sure.
Okay. It's easier to make $1,000 now, but it's because I have money.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and I can leverage and all that stuff. So you know what? I'm gonna just be fully transparent, really honest with you. But what got me to 1,000, what got me to $1 million, you're right. Like, it took me before I was earning a couple $1,000s, right?
Yeah.
It was very hard to make that first 1,000.
Yeah.
It took saving. It took trading a lot of time and energy and money.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not money. Just trading a lot of time to get to the 1,000 mark.
Yeah.
But to get to the $1 million, you're no longer trading your time, but you're leveraging your systems and your product or your service, whatever it is. But it's definitely a different skill level.
Yeah.
Okay. But I would like to reframe that thought process and actually apply it a little bit better. Is that today I own 9 companies. Some do hundreds of thousands. Some do millions of dollars in revenue, right? So if you were to look at that, I would say actually that it is easier to make the $1 million than it is to make the $100,000.
Really?
Yeah, because once you get to that point, you have systems, people who are doing the work, a lot of the work, right? When you were doing 100, 200,000, it was mostly just you.
Yeah.
So it's actually harder.
I get it.
But as far as when they were both getting off the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where more.
Like coffee shops, right? Let's just take one single store. Yeah. Not the portfolio, because the portfolio does over 7 figures. Yeah. But the single store, does about high hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? We'll take the VA Hub. Yeah. VA Hub does multiple 7 figures. Yeah. When I were getting them off the ground, they both required like
the same amount of work.
12, 14-hour days.
Yeah, for sure. Both. For sure.
Okay. So if I were to do it again, I now say this all the time. It takes the same amount of effort to build a $100,000 business as it does to create $1 million business. Yeah. So why would you go after a business that's only going to why would you go after a business that is only able to do hundreds of thousands? Go for the big fish. Go for the bigger one. Okay? Does that kind of make sense, PJ?
Dude, yeah, man. I didn't know if there was anything. I didn't know if there was anything else that you wanted to add, but I just wanted to let that sit for the audience because I think what you said is remarkable. I think that's amazing to realize that you're someone who's been on both ends, and you're saying that's like, dude, like it's pretty much the same.
I would actually even say that to create, even like going further, the coffee shops were way more capital intensive than the VA Hub. Yeah. Coffee shops had leases. It had equipment. It had all that stuff. Whereas the VA business was just subscriptions, ring center dialers and stuff like that. A lot more affordable. The coffee shop costs, the very first one that we opened cost over $150,000, give or take, to start. The VA Hub was a $40,000 investment. Yeah. So you can kind of see. Yeah. And today, the VA Hub, like even the whole coffee shop portfolio doesn't make nowhere near what the VA Hub makes. Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, same amount of effort. Yeah. Different kind of work.
Definitely.
It's definitely different. Yeah. And to even go back a little bit further, in my opinion, in order to make $1 million, you have to learn how to make 1,000.
Yeah.
Because there are levels to this, and you will grow along the way.
Yeah.
Right? Just like when you were a kid, you know, $1,000 was a lot of money. Mm-hmm. $1 million was just like, holy smokes. It's still holy smokes.
Yeah, for sure.
So in the beginning, you got to learn to work.
Yeah.
Build the work ethic.
Yeah.
Build the discipline to save.
Yeah.
Build, you know, so all that stuff is still required to make $1 million. You see how they're similar?
Yeah.
The only thing is that as you start to scale up and as the money gets bigger, there are different skills that are required of you. There are different foundational principles that you need, right?
No, I agree. I agree. I think, you know, not everyone's like blessed to have the first thing that they want to try be the $1 million business.
Right.
You know,
that's the goal.
Yeah, for sure.
Strive for it. Yeah. But just know
you do need your levels. You do need your steps.
Right.
You know,
because to get to $1 million,
yeah.
And this is how I did it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody else can go into tech and obviously create a company and boom, get $1 million valuation.
Yeah,
sure,
for
whatever.
Sure.
I'm talking about making $1 million in revenue or making, you know, $2, $3, $4 million in revenue. This is what I did, right? Before I even got to that 7-figure mark, to get to the 1,000 mark, I traded my time for my money.
Yeah.
Right. I was cutting hair, or I went out and I sold property. You know, I took clients in my car. I, you know, showed them homes. I did everything.
Yes.
And I got you know, I made 1,000, 2,000, eventually 20,000, and 30,000.
Yeah.
Once you get to that, you know, 75,000 mark, you hire your assistant. Now the assistant takes on a lot of the admin role. So now I can gain back time and I can start doing things that are more higher income producing activities like negotiating contracts, going out and physically closing deals, right? Because you can only do so much. An assistant can only do so much. And then from there, you then take that money and you start buying leads. Or you know, whatever it is. And then you get so much leads that you hire a buyer's agent. Then you hire a listing agent. And you hire more admins, marketers, right? And so now that you built all the system, now that business can go out and make $1 million.
For sure.
Now today, my work looks a lot different than it did in the beginning. It's more management. It's more higher level thinking. Do I work less? Maybe, but I would say it's about the same.
You know, for sure.
But today I make millions and not thousands.
You know what I mean? For sure. No, I think the whole, you know, premise of the question is right that I think there is a misconception that's like, oh man, like I'm already busting my balls right now, and I can only make like $1,000. That's like my dream is to like make $1 million. Like, and I think the scary part is like I have to work 10 times like more now. You know,
like I said,
not harder.
You if you're like a barber, like think about whatever it is you're doing. If you trade your time for money, it's going to be very hard to get to the $1 million mark. Only CEOs and high execs can ever achieve that high mark. You get there in business, you get there by reinvesting into the business and getting the business to run without you, right? And multiplying yourself. But if you're a W-2 employee and you're listening to this, the only way to get to that point is to somehow supplement your income. And so now it's going to be investing into stocks if you're into stocks, investing into real estate if you like real estate. That's how you're going to be able to do it. And so if I worked a W-2 job, let's say I was a doctor. Actually, you know what? Average person. Let's say I'm an engineer making $120,000 a year. I buy one property. That one property makes me an extra $6,000 a year. $500 a month. Next year I buy another property. Now I'm making $12,000 a month because the first one made $6,000. The second one's gonna make me another $6,000. So I make $12,000 more a year. The third year, I buy a third property, and now guess what? Making $6,000, $12,000, $18,000. Year 4, I do the same thing. Now I'm making $6,000, $12,000, $18,000, $24,000 extra a year. Fifth year, you do the same. And now your portfolio gets big enough to where you can buy a property a year, or even like 2 a year, right? And then eventually, you're making almost $100,000 on top of your salary. then you just keep going.
Yeah.
And that's how you're gonna get to $1 million. Right.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
the simplest way I can think of it when it comes to real estate.
Like for a W-2 employee.
For a W-2 employee. But it is a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Probably, you know, people always want things to happen overnight. It takes time, guys. But 5 years, the average person lives like 75 years old right now. So 5 years of your life, you know, what is that? I don't know the actually math, but 5 years of 75 is not that much. It's a fraction of your life.
Yeah.
But it's gonna set you up for like the next. So you graduate 25. So by 30, so you have 45 years to live out and ball out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of years.
Yeah. I like it, man.
I know I kind of deviated from your question.
It's all good, man.
You can't just simplify things so much. Like in my head now, it's like, yeah, for me to make $1,000 and for me to make 10,000, it's the same.
Yeah.
I just gotta go flip something.
Yeah, I think
gotta go sell something.
Yeah, my whole thing is just like, at the end of the day, it's gonna be work, and if you put that work towards wherever you want to go, right? Like, you can see the fruition. Yeah. Right? So, like, I mean, for you, like, how much did you make on your first deal as a real estate agent?
After my split, I was on the worst split.
It doesn't matter.
I was like on a 50-50 split with a mentor or whatever.
Nice. So how much that come out?
$4,000.
Nice. Okay, cool.
It was a lot, but you got to imagine, I worked my ass off.
For sure.
It was one client that I probably spent like 2 months with, negotiated 30-day escrow.
Yeah.
It was like, if you actually factored in like the hourly rate, I probably made less than minimum wage.
Probably.
But
okay, but to what I was saying, what about your first real estate investment? Like pretty much profit. How much did you make there?
I never sold the rental, so
yeah.
But it made like
on paper, let's say.
I don't know. Like now that property is probably worth like $400,000 or $500,000 more than what I paid.
Yeah, for sure.
So
significantly much, right? But would you say like the amount of work was relatively the same?
It was actually easier because I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The appreciation of the property was just the market.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So I did nothing. But I made $400,000 or $500,000 just literally owning the piece of property and then having it go up in value. And today, if I wanted to do a cash out refinance, I could.
Yeah.
But without going too far into my financials, I want to make sure that more of my properties are paid off so that I'm just cash flowing.
So that kind of like shows to prove, right, that like sometimes even making more money is easier, right? It's just where you want to put your focus on and just realizing like, is there a higher income skill that I could do instead of what I'm doing. So,
but you also get better too. So like selling my first property, it took me long because I fucked up. I didn't say the right things. I didn't know how to get I didn't make the buyer feel comfortable.
Yeah, because
of my knowledge wasn't there. But then like towards the later years, I knew the market better. I knew, you know, when he looked at the inspection reports, I knew things to kind of tell him like, hey, you don't have to worry too much about this. This is just, it's common, right? And I've sold so many homes where it wasn't a big issue. So things like that made it so that I eventually earned more because I got better at my job.
Yeah.
And that's always with sales. So the other thing is like, what I can say now, to give you guys more examples, with making 1,000 and making a few $100,000s. When I used to flip stuff like rims and bumpers off of Craigslist, because you kind of talked about that earlier, like how do people sell homes in our earlier conversation. It brought me back. So in high school, I used to go to my friend's house and he had all these car parts, and I would take it, clean them up, took pictures. This is before like an iPhone and all that stuff. So you had to take pictures with like a camera, and shoot, and then go to your computer, upload it, and then upload it to Craigslist. Then you would go and answer all the emails, all the lowballers, and then you obviously have to go meet them, load up the stuff, go sell them, because I didn't want them to come to my house. I didn't want to get robbed. So like all that work. And I made like $50. Seriously, because I was like, you know, a bumper was like I gave it to my friend for like, he gave it to me for like $100. I sold it for $150. Right, so I had to pay. That was a lot of work
for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
Now let's go back to flipping houses. Now with my skills, Union City just closed. We made over 212 or something thousand or something. I don't know, something like that. I gotta look at the closing statement. But that only took, with my team in place. I found the deal. I sent the crew in. Brandon listed it. Got it sold. I probably spent if I didn't have to go there to film the actual content for the viewers, I probably would have spent like an hour on the whole deal.
Yeah.
And making $200,000.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like, So, yes, once you build a level of skill, it does, like, once you get the concept that whether you flip a $50 bumper or a $100,000 or $1 million property, it's kind of, you're right. It's the same amount of effort.
Yeah.
But
it could also be easier.
I couldn't have gotten to that house flipping stage
for sure
if I didn't start flipping bumpers.
And
headlights and rims.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It was an evolution.
Yeah.
And now that I look back, I can say that yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Like your statement is absolutely correct. Like it's the same amount of effort.
Yeah.
But I get where some of the viewers are coming from, that it is not the same to you.
Yeah.
So my words of wisdom to you is start small.
Yeah.
But don't stay small.
Yeah.
Okay? Start small, but don't stay small. Play bigger.
Yeah.
That's it.
I like that. I think what I want to add to is, like, you're going to need every single step that you've been in life that, like, helped you grow to get to that highest peak of your level in business, right? Whether, like you said, like, you're selling bumpers, you're cutting hair, you know, you're starting your real estate career as an agent. All that stuff is going to help you in the future. It's going to make it easier for you. And, like, there's no difference, again, in my opinion, between the work that it takes to get to, like, $1 million or from 1,000 compared to, like, $1 million, right? Like, my whole story is, like, as this brings up is, to give more context, is because, you know, for me as a videographer, I make, like, you know, for me, my threshold around is like $1,000, $1,500 for sure for some packages and whatnot. And as I'm talking to you more and being around you more, I'm like, oh, like, I can make $50,000 on, like, one, like, little, like, find, or, like, in this real estate space. Like, that was a big eye-opening.
So that was the thing for me too. Like, you know, people ask me all the time, why didn't I just continue cutting hair?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Without going too far into my history, I used to cut hair back in high school and in college. That's what got me through high school. That's what got me through college. I was only making even at my peak of my barber career, I was charging $20 a haircut. Yeah. And I wasn't the fastest. There's some barbers who are so fast. It took me about 45 minutes a haircut. Yeah. So if I lined up my schedule correctly, I was making anywhere from like with tip and everything, like $25, $30 an hour. Yeah. Okay. Great. That's pretty good. $50,000, $60,000 a year at the time. Great. Yeah. What made me really jump and look at real estate sales was because they're both services. If you're a barber, your service is cutting hair. If you're a realtor, your service is to help people buy and sell real estate. Yeah. Why am I going to trade my time for a $25 haircut when I can trade my time for a $25,000 commission check? That's my logic. Yeah. Today I realize that with real estate, it takes longer to actually make that $25,000 because you have escrow, you have to nurture the client. There's a lot more to it than you sitting down, PJ, me giving you a haircut, and at the end of the haircut, you giving me money on the spot. Yeah, walk away. So there are pros and cons. But definitely. But I'm just trying to walk you guys through my mindset was I didn't want to sell a small product service. I wanted to go and get into the bigger tickets. Yeah. And that's just what it is. Yeah, for sure. And because I realize it's the same amount of work. No, I respect it. I mean, I think, you know, for me, I'm someone like who's once my eyes open, I'm like, oh, there is a better way. It's like, I don't care what I'm going to go through. Like, I just want to feel like, all right, cool. Like, I am right. Like, why was I wasting my time doing that? So I just want to bring it back to the audience and say that, like, whether you're a real estate agent, you know, I don't know, maybe you're thinking about like flipping homes or getting into something even like higher return, you can do it. Like all the effort that you put into learning about the real estate market, learning about all these terms and, you know, how to deal with sellers, you know, translate that over to your new endeavor. Like if you could do that, obviously you could. Yeah, and I don't want to give people like that shiny object syndrome. Yeah. I don't want you to jump careers, but at some point you probably have to look at your career and ask yourself, is this career able to make what I want to make? Yeah. So I know a lot of successful videographers, right? Like you eventually in the highest level of videographer is what, like you can become a director.
Yeah, you can become a director. Usually, I mean, I think nowadays
agency.
being a super big like YouTube sensation or something.
So just go into that. But like, okay, so the other thing is like, but if I was selling a product like Cutco, right? Like everybody started at Cutco. They used to come after the high school students. Yeah. You got to look at that one and be like, look, there probably are a handful of guys making a few $100,000 selling Cutco, but like there's only like a handful of them. Yeah. Whereas in real estate, there's probably more than a handful making a couple $100,000 like that. And to me, I think if you're not making a few, like at least $250,000 in real estate, like you're not doing it right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I get it. It's a hard market, so I'm not trying to shut you guys down, but that's what you guys should be making. Yeah. And that's average. Yeah. In our market, San Francisco, you know? Yeah. So,
no, I think that's important because, hey, like shiny object syndrome is super real because you could always be like, oh, I want to change my path because I don't think it makes enough money.
Yeah, but then you really got to ask yourself, like, is it like, there you have to go by the facts.
For sure. I think it's.
Like, look at the market cap of your business and look at, like the big guys. How many big guys do you see doing it? Yeah, I think if you can't name that many, then it's like, okay, chances are it's going to be very hard for you to get to the top.
I think that's the truth too, because like I'm like, hey, I don't see many. For me, I was like, where do I want to go? What is the life that I want to look like? Has anybody else done it?
And then I think your next step, if you want to take videos to the next level, is agency. Yeah, I think so too. You have to become a video agency and do this for other people and then take a cut. That's how you can leverage your time
for sure
to like scale.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely thought about that too, and then it comes to a place. It's like, is that where I want to go? Like, do I want to be on that level, or do I want to go to again like just do this real estate, like do a couple deals here and there, and just keep the video side. Just like let me just do that for me or whatever. Yeah. And I think that's important. What's the that one saying about the people in the gold mine and the gold rush?
Oh, right. So people were chasing the gold during the gold rush era. Everybody was coming to San Francisco to look for gold. Yeah. But the guys that came looking for gold didn't make shit. Yeah. It was the guys who were selling the pants. Yeah. The shovels. Yeah. The wheelbarrows. Yeah. Who were making all the money. Yeah. Right? Like Levi's, big jean company, clothing company. They made all their money selling to the gold rush people.
Yeah, exactly, right? Instead of trying to find like the gold, right?
I get what you're kind of saying. Yeah.
I think for me, it was just like, all right, cool. For the video space, I was like, all right, maybe I need to start selling shovels to people, right? Instead of me trying to look for like the gold, which I would relate that to like me doing the service myself. Yeah. I was like, all right, if I one step it, I'll sell the shovels, which is I'll have an agency and I don't touch it. Yep. And I was like, all right, well.
Do you like that? Do you want to pursue that?
Exactly. Yeah. And I was like, I don't even think like, maybe the return's not going to be as much as I want. I don't think it's worth it. So I waited out and I was like, all right, maybe let me just look for gold myself, quote unquote, like in the real estate like area.
Yeah. Well, make the money there and put it here and park it. Just like what I use the example of just buying one property and then eventually 2, 3, 4. And then next thing you know, you look back and you got 10 properties. Yeah. And then what people don't fail to realize is that the first property you bought, which is, let's say, in year 1, by year 5, that first property has probably gone up in value. The rent's gone up. So you're making more than just like the simple math I broke it down into. Yeah. Like more than likely it's going to go up more. Definitely. So I love the question, PJ. And I love that sometimes we get to dive deep into your business. Yeah. And ultimately, there is no right answer. There is no, there's not one way to success.
For sure.
What I'm trying to get to. Sure. And at the end of the day, all I can do is provide my opinion because, and for those listening, these are just opinions. Yeah. I don't have a say because your life may be different. Your life, I don't understand your circumstances. I don't know any and all that. You know what I mean? So take it with a grain of salt. Everything that I say, take it, let it marinate, and run scenarios in your head and come up with a decision and a solution that's best fit for you.
For sure. I mean, I think this podcast was a very interesting one because it's kind of all just about like opening your mind, the audience mind, to what is it they truly want. Like, is what they're doing working for them? Is there a better way? I don't know. I mean, you guys can only answer that for yourself. So, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that. Share this with some friends. We're coming out with some fire, man. We're keeping it real. Sharing cool stories to help you guys win. So, yeah, share it with some friends. Give us a like, comment on YouTube. Drop some questions, whatever you guys need to do. So, we'll see you on the next one, all right? Peace.
Peace.